its material presence, we must first forge the spirit of prosperity. The spirit of prosperity lies in moral virtue. Men see money, property, pleasure, leisure, etc., and confuse them with prosperity, striving to obtain them for their pleasure. But once obtained, they no longer find pleasure in them. Prosperity is a mental attitude, a power that manifests as abundance, happiness, joy. Just as a man cannot become a genius simply by accumulating poems, essays, and plays, likewise, one cannot become prosperous by accumulating money and acquiring properties. The soul of virtue must be developed. Material accessories must come after the principal good. The spirit of virtue is the spirit of joy. A spirit of joy comes with the man. He must have within himself the capacity to be happy. He must know how to use these things and not simply accumulate them. He must possess them and not be possessed by them. They must depend on him and not he on them. They must follow him and not be constantly pursued. I know incredibly wealthy individuals who are happy because they are generous and magnanimous. But I also know wealthy individuals who are miserable. These are the ones who sought their happiness in money and possessions. These people have not developed within themselves the spirit of goodness and joy. How could someone miserable be prosperous, even if they earn a tremendous amount of money each year? For true prosperity, there must be aptitude, harmony, and satisfaction. When a wealthy man is happy, it is because he has brought the spirit of happiness to his wealth, and not because wealth brought him happiness in itself. He is a complete man with all his material advantages, whereas the miserable rich seek meaning in their lives with their wealth. Prosperity is achieved through principles, through morality, through wisdom and prudence to enjoy material things that are inseparable from this earthly life. If one wants to be free, one must first be internally free. If our mind is a slave to weakness, selfishness, and vice, how could money break such chains? On the contrary, it will be a means to further enslave oneself. The effects of prosperity do not come alone, but are the product of practicing principles. There is a foundation in every building, and the fact that it remains standing is evidence of that. There is a foundation in every established success, and its stability is proof of that. Prosperity rests on the foundations of character. True wealth is prosperity, well-being, health, integrity, and happiness. The miserable rich are not truly rich. They simply carry money, privileges, and leisure. Their wealth, far from being a source of joy, is instruments of torture for themselves. The man of high morality is always on top, always happy, and his life is successful. There are no exceptions to this rule, because even if these men fail 1,000 times, their lives will be considered healthy, upright, and complete in the end. They will have a clear conscience and honorable name, wealth superior to any financial well-being. Let us briefly recap and once again examine the 8 pillars in their strength and vigor. Energy, motivation to work hard and relentlessly towards a goal. Economy, focus, conservation of both capital and character. The latter being mental capital and therefore of superior importance. Integrity, unwavering honesty, keeping all promises and agreements intact regardless of losses and gains. Order, ensuring that all details follow a proper system, and thus relieving memory and the mind of unnecessary work. Sympathy, magnanimity, generosity, gentleness, and tenderness, being open, free, and kind. Sincerity, being honest, genuine, not being one person in public and another in private. Impartiality, justice, avoiding prejudices, not judging based on feelings or ignorance, but knowing both sides and acting with fairness. Autonomy, seeking within oneself strength and support by adhering to fixed and invincible principles. Not having confidence in external things that can be lost at any moment can make life prosperous. A life built on these 8 pillars can, of course, be crowned with success. Their strength is such that no physical or intellectual force can be compared to it. Having the 8 pillars would make a man invincible. There are people who are strong only in certain of these pillars and weak in others. This weak element is what causes them to fail. Attributing a man's failure to his honesty is absurdity, for it is impossible for honesty to be a fault. The cause of failure must be sought in another direction, in the absence and not in the possession of certain necessary qualities. Attributing failure to an exemplary quality is slander, a false accusation against those who act. Such a man will fail due to the lack of the other pillars. His temple will collapse because the pillars must be complete before the temple of prosperity can remain secure. These are qualities that every man must acquire. Furthermore, if a man is strong in the first three and lacks the fourth, the absence of order will generate chaos in his affairs and so on. The first four qualities are the most important, and for a reason. The last four are of such a high character that people generally can possess them only imperfectly, except for a few rare exceptions. Therefore, the man of the world who wishes to succeed in any commercial field or in one of the many branches of industry must possess the first four moral pillars. They must regulate their thinking, conduct, and affairs, ensuring that every detail serves them, and above all, never abandon them under any pretext, let alone for personal gain. Abandoning these principles makes one vulnerable to accusations and attacks from others. One who respects these four principles will fully succeed in their work, whatever it may be. Their temple of prosperity will be well built, well supported.